What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling like the spy today. Hope you guys are feeling good and ready to go. Last day of the week, then a little 2-day break, and we do it all again next week. But spy is rallying. We got through the State of the Union last night. So we survived that. We got through some interesting numbers pre-market. Interesting numbers. So we did have less unemployment but more payrolls, more non-farm payrolls. So I don't know exactly how that works, but somehow payrolls are down and we're not doing that, but or payrolls are up. So I think maybe just people have more than one job. That seems good for the economy. That seems good for the economy. So let's go. We got State of the Union, Joe Biden covering a lot of the hot topics that I felt strongly about. The potato chips, yeah. I think I talked to you guys about how many potato chips are in the bag. So I do like that he was covering those hot topics. Pretty bullish. Went over little clean energy funding bills. So okay, we'll take it. We'll take it. But we got Al in the house. Good morning to you. We got Amy. We got Art. Bill. Good morning. Brian. Good morning. Corey's in the house. Good morning to Donna. Julie. We got, I believe that's Cindy in the house. Good morning to you. We got Jay, Jill, Joe, Miguel's in the house. Micah's. We got Tim, Tina. All my peeps out YouTube land. Good morning to Daniel, M Sky. Leonard's in the house. Cindy. Good morning to all of you guys. And even all the lurkers in the background of YouTube. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. So yeah, we do have a nice little gap up, all-time highs. So they didn't even make me wait to celebrate a little all-time high in the market. Straight gap up. Obviously, at this point, everybody is profitable. Maybe, I mean, on a Friday, probably get a little pullback at open, but let's just take a look real quick at where that gap is. Let's take a real quick look. So I got 515.89 was roughly the high of yesterday. 514.95. Let's see where we came in pre-market. 513.24. So what did we say again? 513.24. 513.24. Is that correct? Hold your horses. Hold on. Yeah, about wow. So that was a retest all pre-market. Okay. Maybe we just open and start to run and we just leave a little gap there. I don't know. This is a retest gap, but pre-market we did retest that on those numbers. As soon as those numbers first came out, we did nosedive a little bit. Since then, we just kind of picked it up and started to run. So technically, we've already retested. But now I don't know how I want to play this thing. But at open, it will be a retest gap without the pre-market. Qs. Let's see if the Qs are doing just as well. Yeah, the Qs I think look a little bit better. And I only say a little bit better just because it's, again, either of them could just, as soon as that bell rings, just wake up and just start running. But you are clearing a pretty hefty support. And the Qs, I think if it does come back for a retest, it's a smaller one. Like, it's not as big of a retest that we have to sit through. So, smaller retest on the Qs. And we are sitting at about all-time highs. Good morning, Lucian. What is happening? Good morning, Jill. Let's see. Santilla says, Happy Friday with the markets up. Nervous to trade the SPY. What's your reservations? What's your reservations? The good news, Santilla, you can trade it bullish or bearish, however you want to feel. Gapping up at pre-market all-time highs. It makes me question if I'd want to go short as opposed to just wait for the drop and go long. I think the path of least resistance is usually the better one and easier one to trade. Leonard says Rivian may not be a lottery ticket yet, but it sure looks like a good scratch off. I still put Rivian in the lotto game. So now I did get filled on puts on this one. And if you guys have other tickers you want to take a look at, make sure you guys throw those into the chat pane. But I do have calls. So I sold puts. I got filled at 14. right? Got through the earnings. We're like, oh no. And then I sold as soon as we got filled, which was right around here. I think those puts expired. We sold the $14 calls, and I'm like, okay, we could probably run this for a couple weeks. But they did come out. It was first they had an upgrade. I think Jeffries upgraded them to $16. And then you do have the R2, the new car priced roughly around 45,000. I think it's a SUV that they have. So $45,000 SUV. Again, I don't think Rivian is the next Tesla. I don't know that this Rivian is going to be moving like it could. Anything's possible. Valuation at that point would be wild, but Tesla's valuation is also pretty wild. So I don't know, but this would be a retest gap at open. So I think we pull back. The calls I saw were for 14. They do expire next week. So if we just chop around, maybe if they call me away at 14, so be it. I made money on the puts and calls. It doesn't really matter. But um, yeah, I don't really at this price. I don't really want to give up the shares, quite honestly. But I'd much rather have bought the dip on this. That'd make me feel even better. But yeah, lotto ticket again. It just comes down to market cap. Can they just stay alive, not go to zero? If that is the potential for them, then the market cap looks pretty low. But they burn money like I don't even know what. But they burn money like crazy. So we'll see. But it does look pretty good pre-market. We got squeezed above that 13 zone. Again, I think this is a little bit of a retest though. Wide open gap. So maybe this one pulls back. Again, if they take my shares at 14, I don't think it's the like, hey, I definitely want to be in Rivian. I just can't figure out how. I mean, if you're getting in here, you're no longer getting in at all-time lows, but you're still pretty low on the chart. You're not getting a horrible price if you must pick up some lotto tickets. Baba, this guy says, I think I'm just going to buy a call on Nvidia, hold it for a week, and retire. That's a good option too. It's a good option, unless Nvidia pulls back. You gotta watch out for that side of the coin too. But for right now, it doesn't look like it. You got Baba, so Baba's a nice little gap up. It does have some room today. A little bit of resistance I'd be looking for about 73.06. That's my first little spot. Otherwise, target on this one. If we get a little, I think probably if we can get through a couple of these little tiny resistance, which I think these are all zones we can now get past. This would be a gap and go, nice little high wave-ish hammer doji. And targets could be 73.99. So we have about a full dollar to the higher side, just over a dollar. So not too bad on that one. Almost would like to see a tad bit pull back and open. Give me some kind of high wave candle, but it does look interesting longer term. If we get a bounce here, I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen. But if we do get a bounce, that could be mini little inverted head and shoulders as well. So it's got potential, but it's got a lot of resistance in the way. I do own shares, full disclosure, of Baba because I put my own price target that I came up with in my head at about $800. So we'll see. I got a path to get there. That's all I'm saying. And then you get like a 10 bagger. You know, I like it. All right, we got Intel. Intel. Again, another little retest into resistance. See if this one pulls back first, I think. If this opens, because there's still time, we got 20 minutes to this morning bell. But I think if this one's opening anywhere above 46.88, that diminishes that little pullback, and we might just wake up and start to run. Otherwise, pretty decent close. We do have VPOC higher than the one that came in on March 4th. So that's pretty bullish on this break. We do have this wide open gap we got to fill on Intel. I'll scoot this one a little bit higher. I'd prefer to see some kind of high wave candle on this one at open. That would be my favorite. But again, just depends on where this thing opens. If we get a little bit higher, then I think we have some good enough room, 48.05, where we could make that push. But if we get rejected here, high wave candle, we could take the break, and then we still get the same risk to reward, but probably we actually get a little tighter setup, to be honest. And then we have some room. Walmart. WMT. WMT. Doing something a little different. Obviously, trend has been bullish. So since we've done that little, yeah, since we've done the split that came over here, we were bullish into the split. We hardly pulled back. We got one or 2 days. This is a 3 bar reversal, by the way. So that is a bullish sign, and the fact that we gapped up. I still like this bullish, but now you do have 1, 2, 3 days in a row uh, that have run since. I would think with this type of gap that this support here is going to be a decent one. I think somewhere around 60-10 should be the retest spot on this one. And we're obviously almost gapping into it. If we do start to lose that zone, all right, now it's either we're in for a bigger reversal. We're pretty far extended off those moving averages. But then we might be coming into this 59.63. So I don't know. But this would be a retest gap, and see if this one maybe wants to drop a little bit to get to that 60-10. But I don't know. Even this candle here, sentiment on this one was bullish, and this is profit taking. So yeah, I don't know. The zones might be a little tough unless we start breaking that 60-10. Then I get about 59.60. Maybe we can make something on that work. But this is still a pretty bullish gap on Walmart. And all the VPOCs have been going up. I think this support holds pretty well. We'll see. We'll see on that one. Little consolidating in there. Little mixed messages. Lucia says Rivian is missing the Elon factor. Not sure if that's good or bad. Yeah, I guess that would depend on who you ask. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, if you ask Elon, he would probably say, "Yeah, no, it needs me." That's what I would say. But yeah, it doesn't have the Elon factor. But they do now have an R2, which is comparatively priced, and it's an SUV. So if you're not a Tesla fan, but still want to save the world from the ozone layer burning down, then there's an option for you. And that's nice. All right, we got Docu, is this an earnings gap? I believe it is. Docu beat by 11 cents, 17% on earnings per share. They beat by $14 million, so up about 2%. A little bit of a pullback on this one will be great. It's a pretty massive gap. Look for your first support somewhere around $58, 58.02. That being said, you're taking out this massive candle already with some volume. Even on this candle, so this is actually your more volume candle, but this was a gap down and a fade. And then we've done nothing to even get close to the top of that candle. So I think there's actually some shorts being squeezed on Docu. So let's see if we get some profit taking. First spot, I can't really do much here at the open just because I don't really have a good setup unless it gives me something intraday. Like a high wave candle, maybe, I don't know. But even the low of that wick, I'd like to see it somewhere around $58. What I do love a lot on this trade is the amount of room we got. We got all the way up to 61.22 to go. And I think we are starting to squeeze some of those shorts. I don't think we're starting to, I should rephrase it. I don't think we're starting to squeeze it. I think we are squeezing the shorts. So that's an impressive gap. But one level is 58.02. The next one down that we could also get a bounce is about 57.69. So those are the two spots I would look for. And there's plenty of room to the higher side. So maybe one of my favorites, but I do think we still have to be a little patient and open. At least survive the first 3 to 5 minutes, maybe. See if there's any potential bull traps, something like that. And then again, if it just opens, the other thing we could do, and let's see if I can get my DocuSign up there. Let's see if there's any pre-market on this one. Even if we get in here, first resistance 59.94, and then the bigger resistance is going to be 61.08. All right, I'll be patient and open on this one. We'll see. We'll see if we get a better fill closer to $58. Gap is gapping, even without Kanye. Okay. Gap is gapping, and this one does have a typically high short float. I don't know if that one's drifted off a little bit. So you almost have bearish engulfing candle. You got another day of inside pressure. I like that spot that we're opening. The fact that we're above $20.62. Uh, Resistance is a little close. I don't know if we have the ability. That seems like a big resistance spot. We would have to rely on the short squeeze, a high short float to get through it. Otherwise, maybe targets today 21.36, but we could easily get caught up in there. So that would be my biggest hesitation. Otherwise, really really good gap. I just don't like that resistance up there. We'll have to throw this one up a little higher too, just to see. Still would have to definitely come down a little bit. Would have to come down to this 2067 at least. See how we handle that. And then if we start breaking, maybe we're looking for like 2025. And I don't think at that point it'd be as interesting. So we'll see. Definitely looks a little bit more bullish, especially with the higher short float it typically has. Costco. Costco. What happened? What happened to you? Uh, ah, Down on revenue. So they missed revenue by 668 million. They need more free samples. Or maybe they just gave too many away. I think it is almost extremely difficult or impossible to short Costco. It is one of those ones where you think it's just too high, it's got to come down, and it's very tough to short Costco. So be careful of the short. It was like almost, I mean, Apple became a lot easier now, but uh like Apple prior to 6 to 8 months ago, where every time it dips, it just gets bought up. So maybe this could start going into an Apple trend. I don't think so. All those moving averages are still pretty bullish. This is a gap and go technically. Again, I attribute most of that volume probably to after the bell rang. So I don't really account most of that. That's probably a lot more actually shorts. For this one, though, we are underneath a key support level. So I would have been looking for 759.81 to hold. It didn't. So maybe a small little push higher. And then if that kind of candle, first opening candle breaks, that would give us some room down to like 750.20. Entire market is a retest gap. So this one might play into a potential short. If I'm going to play this one, I'm going to be holding for 1.2. Again, Costco gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit in terms of shorting it. But yeah, a little bit of a breakdown to this, and we do have some room, $7-8. So not bad. We could get held up here, and again, that would be my fear, 755.18. But there's not really a lot of volume there. That was just kind of that retest. That was like the gap up. This would have been also a retest gap, and we just never came down to the retest as well. So maybe today's the day we finally close that mini little gap. Donna says, Apple, does it have lower to go? I have some sold puts on this one, so I hope not. My puts expire next week though, and they're 160. So any little bounce and they should be good. I don't mind selling some puts on this one. Again, I went over with the options group, probably some shorter time frames, because if you are actually looking at where Apple is on a monthly chart, not that in this market valuations really matter, but Apple it's a little bit pricey. And where we're actually looking at on this chart, you do have lower highs. You're right at a key support, so this one should hold. If it does break down, I think the next spot takes me to about 160, 140, maybe 160.45. That looks like my 50% retracement. I don't think this fibs to the penny though. And then could maybe, if things get a little ugly, 146.76 possibly. So it definitely has room on a longer term basis, even though this already feels like we've sold a lot. In the reality of it, we didn't really pull back that much on just a little bit of a longer time frame. So I think we probably, this is our third month in a row. Obviously, this candle's still live. We could get some kind of a bounce here, and that support might hold. So that's why I do have the calls or the put sold at 160. And if it fills me, it fills me. I think it's an easier workaround to get out and probably make some more money on selling some calls and doing some fun option little plays on it. Otherwise, if it depends. So we got, I mean, we still got a lot of time left this month. I don't know how this candle is going to shape up. Right now, we're past a key spot. So key spot 170.91 really should have held, and it didn't. Right? I don't want to see this candle get taken out. But at the end of this month, could this be a hammer? Yeah, I mean anything's possible. Then everyone's bullish. The market's bullish. That's going to help it. If the market was bearish and then Apple's doing this, I would for sure say Apple's got a lot more room to come down before it comes up. Right? Where's their vision for Apple? That's my question. Where's my bullish catalyst? I don't think I have one. Besides it just being Apple, and if I had to invest in something, but I'm terrified to lose money, like over a long-term basis. Like I don't want to invest in a company that goes to zero. I don't think Apple goes to zero. But Apple better come out with a new product soon, and they better start maybe talking about AI a little bit more. That'd be helpful. We'll see. But this is being a big move, and I would think that if we do sell a little bit further, we will probably get some kind of a bounce, and this is a good spot to get that bounce realistically. So I don't know, a lot of negative pressure on Apple still. For long-term investing, it's still a tough spot for me to say this is a great spot for me to add Apple. I like to buy things on a discount, and although it's a discount from the all-time highs, it's not showing me any momentum yet. So we'll see. Kevin Stone likes Enphase. Yeah, well, Biden was pushing the green economy. He was what is he installing 500,000 electric chargers, and he's reducing the carbon in the world or something. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something though. He was definitely talking about green energy. They did pan over to AOC. She looked happy about whatever he was saying. I don't I understood like 20% of it, but I think that does give anything green a boost today. I did see Plug Power running today as well. So maybe. I think our boy ALB is also up. That would be a little bit relation to some EV news. So maybe even Tesla's up a little bit today too. So somehow Tesla, I don't know how, but Tesla's up a little bit today too. This is a retest gap, but we do have a lot of room to run into the VPOC, so that's decent. And even though this is a retest gap, all of this is kind of inside this one little pullback candle. So I could make a good case that a little high wave candle, take a break. You do have the 200 on the daily, so watch 134.18. That would also kind of line up with some of those VPOCs up here. So I think you're going to get somewhere around 134 decent resistance. You already saw we got to this 201, so we did reject it. So we'll have to see, but it does look good in a longer term basis, right? So clearly some kind of support resistance right up in here, a little bit higher than where we're at now. I mean, if we could get there, that's 136, so it gives us about $4 to the upside. And we have been making the higher lows, and we just got to fight through that resistance a little bit. And if we could, there should be a decent amount of room. I think Enphase has a little bit of a bullish fan club to it, so that's good. Lurgan says, "Happy Friday. I'm doing 90 on the freeway." So get that. That is a little ludicrous. All right, well, ludicrous. I like it. Bring me back to the 2000. When was that? That wasn't 98, right? That was 2002, something like that. Uh-huh. And I think he used a little slightly different wording and language. But I appreciate comment it down for the chat. Mm-hmm. Target. When I move, you move. Just like that. Pretty bullish in general on Target. Good earnings, nice gap up, good follow through, bearish engulfing candle. And we are below those VPOCs. This is the second one, so the trend hasn't really been broken from being bullish. However, on the downside, I think we got a decent amount of room. So 168. It gives us about $3 on Target. I kind of like it. It's more playing the daily retest than anything else. And again, just because the trend is so bullish on a daily, if I can get a 1.2, that's probably how I'd want to take a look at that one. No. That's not Eminem. Eminem's, we got one shot, one opportunity. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. Nvidia. Uh, one, two, three, four, five bullish candles in a row on the vids. It does nothing but go up ever. Nice $30 gap today, close to it. But again, this is a retest after a massive amount of candles. It is, I get, I mean, it's a beast of short. It's beast of short. Any of the stock I go to, yeah, this is a retest. Look for targets to 921. Market looks like it's probably more of a pullback than anything, but you're getting a lot closer to that $1,000 mark. You are getting very close to a huge psychological whole number. That being said, we're not there yet. We still probably have at least $50 to the higher side. We're very close to it. And that's a psychological whole number. Does not mean we cannot break through it and keep running. If you, AKA, take a look at SMCI. I don't know if that's the crazy thing. I think it does get to 1,000. The question was 1,000 today. Well, I do think we hit 1,000. We'll go with that because just maybe today is the day. Maybe it's next week. Maybe we get to like this 953 where we're at now when we pull back and sit there for 4 weeks and then we pop. I think anything is possible, but I don't want to put a time frame on it. It could most likely it's probably during some after hours and the market makers hit that $1,000 mark and then we don't see it for a minute. That's what I'm thinking. But Pan W still has a little bit of work to do. A little bit of work. Yep, we're still at that 286. That's the number. You guys know I like that number. I did buy some calls. I was able to sell some calls against it yesterday when it kind of came back. So I got my positions in on this one, but it does have a little bit of work. That 288.87's got to be taken out, and then I think next stop is probably 300. That's where I did sell my. That's not where I sold my calls. That's where I bought my calls for. Um, but one little tiny spot holding us back. This is a major bearish engulfing candle, and we're just kind of fighting with this 50% retrace. So I don't know, maybe today, maybe if the market does want to stay bullish and this thing gets a good push, but really watch out for that 288.87 zone, and we'll see what happens from there. Otherwise, looks decent. TSM. I think TSM stands for to short me. Trend is completely bullish again. If you're going with play this one, take your gains. Try to lock up 1.2. Probably will come back for a retest, would be my guess, starting to already. But again, you are fighting a huge bullish trend. Everybody out there on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. That was the morning bell. But well, Saturday, Sunday, I know I'm gonna miss you guys too, but make sure you guys again hit that like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and then we'll be back on Monday. Be safe.